Going? I think we're going. Hope we're going. All right. You guys ready? I'm actually going to watch you do something from the back of the classroom today. You have to follow along. So, have a blank Maya screen on your computer and go to Canvas on your computer. Hello and welcome. After today, we're going to have, if you count the final class, May 21st, which you are going to have a final for. You will have a final for it.
Test or project?
Both. The test will be, let's quote in quotes, the test will be less important than the project that you're turning in, which is called a nonlinear deformer animation. That project is a fun one. I'm saving the fun one for last. But be here the 21st. There will be something to do in class as well. I haven't decided exactly what the test is yet. I have ideas. I have several ideas. We're gonna do all the ideas. Just kidding. So yeah, let me. I'm gonna pull high school teacher on you guys and actually look at your screens for a second because with bump and spec, once you do it, it gets a bit. It makes sense. You're like, okay. I'm gonna do it out of order. Normally, I like to say color drives the bumps, and the bumps drive the spec. But we're gonna do spec first because it's usually the most avant-garde. Make sure you can see what it looks like. And I forgot to test we're gonna maybe have to dig through the settings a little bit here. I forgot about that. And then we're gonna do bumps, and then you're gonna add color with these two pictures. So please, right now, go to announcements. Everyone looking? Or if you go to the homepage on our class, 2 JPEGs for today's follow along. And you'll need Maya open, and you'll need a basic sphere. You're gonna grab both of these pictures. You can right click and choose Save Image As, or you can just drag the image off and onto your desktop. There's a black and white one, and there's a color one. Boop. Something like that.
Rebels or Ahsoka?
Huh? What?
Rebels or Ahsoka? That you got the images from.
I don't know where I got. I think it's like meant to be a wallpaper, like a vertical wallpaper for your phone or something. I think this is from Ahsoka. Oh, this image is from Ahsoka. All right. Okay. Did everyone see the 2 pictures? You got them? Mm-hmm. Did everybody find them? Yeah. Got them? Yeah. Yeah. Do it. Old school. Find them again. Good. Okay. You got 2 pictures?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Make a sphere. Make a sphere in Maya. Create.
Polygon or nerve?
Polygon, please. Get. Create a sphere. Now, what you're going to do in Photoshop, you've heard me say this over and over again, bump. You're going to make a color map, a bump map, and a spec map. And a lot of you are like, what's the difference there, G? So I like to do just a quick little, have you guys touch and do this before actually getting it up onto an actual model. So you guys can kind of see what you're working with and how it affects your stuff. So let me just verbally explain what a bump and a specular map do. So you have your UV map where you can lay out color. That UV map can also lay out specular data. What's specular data? Specular data is shininess, for lack of a better word. And so what it does is you're going to convert it to a black and white image, and parts that are white are going to be more shiny, and parts that are black are going to be dull or not shiny. Okay? Same thing happens with a bump map. So instead of adding all those little lines and details that you see on that picture, all these little lines and all these little details, that would be a pain in the butt to model. That would take a long time. It's doable, definitely. Can you imagine doing that with Mudbox? Like hitting control on the knife and trying to pull those things out, right?
Hell.
But it would be a lot of work. Bump map allows you to take an image, and again, it'll convert it to black and white, but I converted it to black and white for us, just so you can see it. Anything that is white goes outward. Anything that is black goes inward. And everything that's like at the 18% gray stays flat. Okay? It doesn't actually mess with the geometry at all. It creates the illusion of bumps. So you're going to notice when you get to like the edges of the circle or the sphere, the bump kind of disappears and it still looks like a perfectly circular shape. It doesn't actually distort. You don't actually see the bumps on the edge of the shape, but you'll see the shadows and it'll look interactive there. Okay? So that's what we're doing. It's a way of cheating. It's a way of having way more texture and geometry to your objects without having to use, it actually is way easier on the renderer, and it's way easier to make. And this is how a lot of games are going to work. They don't put in all these actual individual details. They put in a bump map, which makes it way easier. You don't have all this extra geometry.
Isn't it that thing where you see like a brick wall where it's
Yes.
three-dimensional? It's not.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. So we're going to do this as a practice right now, just so you get it. You're not turning this in, but I just want you to try it. Let's see. Did I say everything? Yes. So let's do this. So you're going to need to make a new surface on this. It should not be a Lambert. Let's make it a Fong. It could be a Fong or a Blinn. A Blinn will be reflective and shiny. A Fong will be just shiny. For your creature and for your face, I'm going to recommend a Fong. So you're going to right click.
Fong or Fongy?
Fong. We don't need Fongy. Fongy's easy for beginners, man. We'll just do Fong. We're going to do Fong. Boop. So how do I get there? I just realized we've never done this as a class. As an object, make sure your sphere is an object. Make sure you go to assign favorite material and choose Fong.
Is new material okay?
Yeah, you can do it, yeah. More than one way to cut a mango. All right. So I want to do, I'm going to scroll down to where it says specular shading. So
Is it supposed to turn white?
it might have turned a lighter color, or depending on your default color, it might have gotten a little lighter, it might have gotten a little darker. Depending on if you had 5 or 6, there's a whole bunch of factors there. So what I want you to do is, like I said, we're going to start with specular color. That way you can actually see what's happening. So look, Fong has this shiny, shiny, shiny spot. Has this shiny, shiny, shiny spot. Right? So it might be hidden with this carrot right here, this triangle. Thinking they call it a carrot. And I'm going to go down to specular color. And I'm going to choose this little checkerboard box, which means a directory. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to choose File. I'm going to choose File. Boop. I get this other option here, and I'm going to choose File. I'll go back. Let me go here. Fong. Specular shading. Checkerboard box. Right here. Do you see my mouse? Right? Checkerboard box right there. And then, I'm sorry. And then you hit this folder. Oh yeah, you should say File. I already had it set up. Let me make another one. Another Fong. Easy as pie. All right. Specular color. Checkerboard box. And it says, what do you want? Create a render node. We're going to choose File. File. Boop. And you choose the folder, and please choose the black and white one. So there should be 2 folders you grabbed from your desktop or downloads wherever there are. Should be a black and white and then a regular one. Choose one, the B&W one, and hit open. And I'm going to close this. Oops, and you might need to press 6 on your screen. There it is. So, I don't know if you can see it on your screen. I can see it on my screen. Can you see it on my screen? Do you see it? You can see the hints of the specular shades there. You can see the stripes. Do you guys see that? As you roll it around and as the light hits it, it's like a hidden code. Looks like something slimy crawled over it and made this pattern. Do you guys see that? Make sure you hit 6. It's very subtle. It's very subtle. If I wanted to make it less subtle, 2 things I can do. I can, in my map here, I can make the whites, I can increase the contrast or brighten it up so that these whites are even brighter and thicker, and then those will show up more clearly. There's an adjustment in Fong, which I forgot to double check where to do. If I go here, there's a place that I will look up later and tell you where to find, to kind of, there's a slider for it where you can turn this up and down a little bit. But normally it's there. So, shinier parts are white, duller parts are black. Did you press 6 after you did it? It looks kind of cool. You get it? Yeah. Nice. Did you get it? Cool, huh? Yeah. Did you guys do that before in a different class? Did we even take 432? Okay, cool. New stuff.
We worked with Spec last, but we didn't do anything involving putting shapes or whatever in the specular map.
There you go. Let's do bump map. So now, don't make a new Fong. You're going to work with the same Fong you had. So to find that Fong again, you're going to go to this attribute editor right here. And now I'm going to find the word here, bump mapping. So I'm going out of order. Normally you go color, then you go bump, then you go spec. But I feel like when you do that, you don't really appreciate what the spec's actually doing, right? So
how do you get into there when you're in the Fong menu?
Right. So you're going to go, just click off of it. Click on it as an object. Did that do it?
With that attribute menu.
Yeah, it's a little, it tries to do too much. It does too much. It really needs 2 different menus. And then, so yeah, where is it? Fong. There it is. Everyone see where I got? Now I'm going to go to bump mapping here. And I'm going to click on the little checkerboard box. Again, I'm going to choose File. This time, I'm going to go to this tab here. So speaking about the attribute editor is confusing. Click on File here rather than instinctively go into this box. Click on File here and you'll see why in a second. Click on File here. Whoop, there it is right there. Image name.
The golden one.
Image name. No, you can do black and white. It won't matter actually too much. I'm going to go to my desktop. You might get a little different texture if you do the golden one. I'm going to hit open. And if you don't see it, you should hit 6. And you should see some very distinct markings. And now it looks like you actually carved something on it. One more thing before I float around and make sure you guys got it. If I go back to that bump, I have this slider. If I wanted to be like, oh, that's a little too much, I can pull this down. If I make it a negative, it inverts the color. So then white is inward and black is outward. So it kind of inverts the engravings. So if you did the bump map, you're like, oh, that's a little too much, right? You can change the depth.
So bump value determines how much is seen, and depth determines how much it pokes out from the surface?
Yes. So you can really make it look really grainy. So by cranking it up to 5, it looks really dark. Yeah, and usually a subtle bump map is better. Usually the bump map comes in too hot. Usually you're going to keep it around like 0.12, 0.2, 0.4, something low. So something like that. One more thing to point out is you're not actually adding geometry. The geometry is still the same. I want you to look right here with the seam right here and these semicircles. As I get to the edge, it's still a nice concentric circle. It's still a nice concentric circle. So it's not really doing much to the geometry, but it is definitely drastically changing the image. Let's see. Now for color. So now when you have all three added, all three can really kind of crank this out. So if I hit color here and I choose the checkerboard box again, if I go back to my attribute editor, so I'm going to click off it, click out as an object, click my attribute editor, and I'm going to choose color, choose file, choose folder. This time I'll choose the color one, the regular one. And now, it's kind of hard to see. I can maybe crank up some color here.
Question.
I'll put some light on it. Yes, sir.
My bump value for some reason refuses to change.
I'll be right there. Did you click that file tab and then come back? I'll take a look at it in 1 second. It's a little harder to see. This is why I did the spec first. The spec was hard to see, and then I added the bump. The spec was even harder to see. And then now that I added the color, it's even harder to see. But if I add a light, so don't bother here. We're going to do this next week. We're going to start adding ambient light. Let's do this. Hit 7. Really? No light? Let me do a window rendering, render settings. Let's get off of Arnold for a second. Let's go to, let's do production. Don't follow along for this part. Sorry. Say close. We're doing it now. And if I hit IPR, what happens? Will the bumps show? Yeah, look at that. Right? So let me zoom in on that. Let me make the light a little less direct. Let me give it a little bit more angle. And let's hit IPR again. Right? So the bumps are there. It looks like there's seams of gold on top of this orb. Right? And I can fine tune it and I can tweak it. So all that, it looks like we have this very highly detailed sculpted model. All it is a sphere with a UV map and a spec map. Let me see what you got. If you don't, this part where I just did a quick little render, that's next week. But I just wanted to show you like the full effect of it. Like you can kind of see the bumps here, but you can really see the bumps there. You lost the slider?
No.
Oh no, this one. It's gonna be. You can't do value. You can only do depth.
Oh.
Sorry. The value is this. That's the value. The value is the map. The depth is the adjustment of the map. Sorry.
So how do I do the steps where you turn?
Oh, then you can do color. So then go back to your phone. You got color. Scroll up. Oh, was that the color?
Yeah.
And then folder, and then choose the color one. Nice, nice. Everyone get that conceptually? Because we're going to talk about it after break. So what you want to do is you want to not do what we did, where every single color is a bump value and a spec value. It works really well for this, right? Because this is a gold trimmed thing, right? So it plays well with this concept. However, if you have Frankenstein has a cut. You don't actually have to paint the cut. You can paint the cut in the bump map, right? And the bump map gets raised, and it's just like this extra little bump. So one thing you're going to do with your monster or your self-portrait is you can give yourself a few blemishes. And you might not even need to paint it on the color map. Just know that you have this power to create like an artificial mole with just the bump map, right? So can everyone see where this is going? How we can translate this to our current project? Yeah? Is that good?
So how do we create?
Let's do it. Well, let's finish our colors. Let's talk color, and then we'll get to bump map after some more color work. All right. So I left you at, let's do this.